How you doing, guys? Big Mac School here, back once again with the penultimate episode of my Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms series for you. It's time to take a look at what's inside issue 23. First off, I need to say a massive thank you to Splinter for sponsoring this video. Splinter has provided a lot of support for the channel and this series in particular, and I'm so grateful for that. If you want to be like Splinter and offer a little support to the channel, you can do so by following the link up here or in the description below to my Patreon, the proceeds of which go back into the channel in order to help me improve the output in one way or another. Back to this week's issue, where we get some Stormcast reinforcements in the form of 4 Liberators and a Prosecutor. These minis originally came in the Age of Sigmar starter set, but can now be found in the Start Collecting Stormcast Eternals Thunderstrike Brotherhood box. Whew, that's a mouthful, which retails for £50. If you were to break the box down on a price per miniature basis and then multiply it by the number of miniatures we receive in this issue, you're looking at a value of around £13.90 for this issue, so a total saving of around £5.90. Also in this week's issue, we'll learn how to paint these miniatures and get some new Warscrolls and a new battle plan. Onto the first page, where we get some info on Liberators. It states here that they are the most common warriors of the Stormhost and are both brave and stoic. I'd question that. The idea that they're brave in particular. It's not hard to throw yourself at the enemy lines and fight with the ferocity of a lion if you know that when you fall, you'll be whisked off into the heavens and reforged. Granted, there's a price to pay and you lose a little bit of your soul and personality each time it happens, but for a warrior who follows Sigmar's words so readily, it's hardly worth a second thought. They form the main fighting strength of Sigmar's armies, as well as the foundations. On good strong foundations like these you can build empires, and Sigmar pretty much has done. Most Liberators prefer to fight with a broad tower shield in one hand and a hammer in the other. The armies of Sigmar are experts in shield wall tactics, allowing the enemy to break on the wall like waves against the cliffs, before raining death on them with their mighty hammers. There are a variety of weapons available to them, however. The Celestial Vindicators often prefer a sword and shield approach, certain warriors prefer to wield 2 hammers, and others a single 2-handed great hammer. On to the next section, where we get our first snippets of information about Prosecutors. Part of the Angelos Conclave, these winged celestial warriors are the strike troops of most Stormhosts. While mortal soldiers look to their scabbards and quivers for their weapons, Prosecutors simply reach out and a weapon is born of pure energy, appears in their hand. Pretty cool, that. Celestial hammers, storm-cold javelins and even 2-handed tridents offer themselves to the wielder. This ability to conjure weapons from the heavenly energy of Azir grants Prosecutors an extra ability, ranged attacks. While commonplace in Warhammer 40,000, ranged attacks can prove the difference between 2 evenly matched forces in Age of Sigmar, where ballistic weapons are harder to come by. Prosecutors are borne aloft on wings of celestial light. These blades of energy allow the warriors to cover much more of the battlefield than their grounded brothers, providing an even greater threat to the enemy. The newly dead is what we see when we glance over to the next page. This looks like an excerpt from Of Bones and Blood, Encounters with the Dead by Tyrus von Stats, that we saw an intro for a few issues back. Nice to see that they're following up with that. Zombies are the undead creatures that you'll most likely be confronted by in the wilds of Shaish. They are created from the bodies of fallen mortals, most commonly Duardin, elves and humans. We have a lovely thematic couple of paragraphs on this page which are formed from observing these zombies, the lowliest form of undead. Zombies can be raised in a number of ways. The constant war and disease spread in the Age of Sigmar provides necromancers with easy access to fresh bodies. Nagash's curse can also raise the newly dead, and as can the amethyst death magic found naturally in the realm of death. This type of undead are known by more than just the common name zombie. Deathwalkers, flesh crawlers, corpse fiends and simply the living dead are some of the other titles. Zombies, crafted from humans, Duardin and elves, are slow moving and weak. Those crafted from the many fell beasts of the mortal realm, such as direwolves and dragons, however, are formidable indeed. Thankfully, unless they are sustained by a powerful necromancer, they usually fall apart quickly. On the next page we get a short overview of necromancers, direwolves and corpse cards, all presented from the first person, and as I don't want to spoil the whole mag for you, I'll let you read those bits yourselves. Following that, there's a summary of these dead walkers and advice on how to deal with them if you're unlucky enough to encounter them on your travels. Basically, it's your typical zombie movie advice: run like hell, but if you have to tackle them, aim for the head. Next, we get the how to build section, a simple 2-page guide to help us get our 5 models constructed, then 4 pages on how to paint, which really gets the minis looking almost done. Onto the playthrough section at the back, which is 8 pages in total, 6 of which are taken up by 3 Warscrolls for the Liberators and Prosecutors, and 1 for the Glaive Stalkers for the Nighthorn. These again come with helpful reminders on how to implement the unit's abilities on the reverse of each page. The layout of these Mortal Realms magazines is a big step up from Conquest ones in my opinion, so it's great to see that the publishers are learning as they continue to produce these with GW. With the Warscrolls we get in this issue, you'll be pleased to hear that you can use your new models in this week's battle plan, the Arcane Ruin. The armies are as follows. The Nighthorn have 1 Dreadblade Harrow, 10 Chain Rasps and 4 Glaive Stalkers, while the Stormcast consist of 1 Night Questor, 1 Prosecutor and 4 Liberators. The players alternate deployment, as was the case in the previous battle plans, in the appropriate territory, as you can see behind me. The Nighthorn player goes first in the first turn, but you'll have to be rolling off to see who goes first from the second turn onwards. Again, the game ends when 1 player has no models left. Coming to the Mortal Realms in issue 24, we have a Lord Executioner, some Grimghast Reapers, and more Glaive Stalkers. In issue 25, anyone who will be continuing with the magazine will get 2 new paints. Don't forget that my coverage will be ending at issue 24 though, so next week is my final one. Before you go, don't forget to give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Any questions you've got, you can ask in the comments below. There's a button here for you to subscribe if you've not already done so, and a Patreon link here if you'd like to support the channel. There's also a couple of videos here for you to check out at your leisure. Thanks very much for watching guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.